we are on lesson 7 and we are going to learn how to create angles of a specific measure. Okay, so for this angle over here, we need to make that angle a 50-degree angle. So just like yesterday, we're going to line up the protractor with the dot on the end. Okay, so I've got to get that little round circle. Oh, it's so hard to do. Right on the end. I'm going to let me try to put the protractor to the back, and then try just moving the line itself. There we go, better. Okay, now let me try to get the line right on the 0. See how I can move it down? Okay. So, trying to get that dot. Oop. There we go. Oop. We want the dot right in the dot, and it's not working. Okay, let me undo what I just did. There we go. Okay, so there's my line. Okay, and now I need to make this so that it is a 50-degree angle. So I'm going to take this over here. Okay, and we're going to line up the dot so that it's in the center of the dot of the protractor. And right now it's at a 90, so I need to move it until it's at a 60. Okay, and now it's at a 60-degree angle. And I know that because 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So this line right here needs to line up right on, ooh, no, it needs to line up on the 50. Look, I was mistaken. So that's at a 60. We need to go 10 more down right there to the 50. Okay, so there we go. Now it's on the 50-degree angle. All right, now I can take my protractor and I'm going to move it down here. And I think I'm going to move my line ever so slightly in that direction. And I'm going to try to get my protractor right on that line. Okay, that's pretty close. My line is on the 0. The end of that line is near that dot, right at that dot. I can try to barely, there we go, scoot it over. Now that line is in that dot. Okay, so now we're going to put this one. I like to start it at 90 and then we can adjust. So let's get it. It's on 90, but my end points aren't touching. So let's get it where my end points are touching. There we go. Now both dots are in the center on that dot. And now I need to go to 170. So if right here's my 0, then I go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170. It's going to be almost a straight line at 180. All right. Oop, nope. Okay, put that back. So I need to get right on that blue dot where there's a plus sign. Okay, so when you move it, it needs to look like a plus sign. There we go. And now I'm at 170 degrees. Okay, so there's 170, and now I can take my protractor and move it back up here. Okay, so I have 50 and I have 170. So this is using a protractor that has numbers on both sides. Whichever way your line starts out at lining up on the 0, whether it starts out lining up at the 0 here, or whether it starts out by lining up on the 0 here, then you always want to count up from 10 from there. Okay, these protractors here are a tad bit more simple because the 0's in one spot, it doesn't have 2 sets of numbers, and it's just got one set of numbers for you to make the angles with. So we're going to go here to select a line. We're going to select an arrow. Okay, my arrow is going to always start right in the center on this dot, so I'm going to line up the plus sign here, and then I'm going to drag my arrow so that it lines right up on that 0 line. And so when I'm doing this, like I am right now, creating it, I can get it right on that line. It's a lot easier than moving it once it's already made. Okay, so there's my line. One thing I want to do is I'm going to make the thickness of my line a little thicker. So to make the thickness of your line a little thicker, you can come down here, okay? And to make the end of your line a little fatter arrowhead, you can do this right there. So there we go. Now, let's see, I can also make my line a color. Make it red. Okay, so there's my red line. Okay, so now I'm going to do another arrow, and this says constructed at 30. So again, I'm going to start here on the dot, and then I'm going to drag my line until it crosses and touches the 30. Okay, and again, I'm going to make my line thicker so that we can see it. I'm going to make my line red, and I'm going to give it the fat end of the arrowhead, and there is my 30-degree angle. Okay, now what type of angle is this? Is it right? No, right is 90. Is it acute? Acute angle, less than 90 degrees. So it's a cute little angle. It's less than 90. 30 is less than 90. So this is an acute angle. Okay, so we're going to fill that in. Okay, so now we're going to move here. All right, and this one we're going to construct an angle that is 65 degrees. Okay, so we're going to go back up here to our line tool. All right, and we're going to put our plus sign on top of this plus sign here. We're going to drag over and line up with the 0 first. You always line up with the 0 first. I like to make my arrow with a fat head, and I like to make my line a 3-point line because it's thicker, and I like to make my line a color just so I can see it against all that black and white there. So there's my line. That's a color. We'll do a blue line this time. Okay, and now we're going to construct an angle that's 65 degrees. Okay, so here we get a little bit tricky. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to count the little lines in between. Each one of these little lines is for 1 degree, and the 5 degree is a tad bit longer there in the center, so 65. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my line to create my arrow. I'm going to put my plus sign right at the center, line it up. I'm going to go up until my line crosses right, I'm going to be careful, across that 65 degrees. Okay, I like to make my line a 3-point line so that I can see it, and this one we decided we were making it blue. So there we go. That is a 65-degree angle. Okay, so what type of angle is it? Right angle. That is 90 degrees. This isn't 90. Acute angle, less than 90 degrees. 65 is less than 90, so this is a cute little angle. It's so cute. Okay, so there we go. We've got a cute angle. All right, so here we're going to construct an angle that is 115 degrees. Okay, let's see. We're going to go to our arrow line, okay? And we're going to come down here and we're going to put the plus sign on the plus sign. And we always start by lining up the 0. Line it up with the 0 on the line. I like to make it thick. We're going to go to 3-point. Let's make this one purple. Okay, so this one says construct an angle that is 115. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120 is too much. 110, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is this longer line in the middle. So I'm going to click my arrow sign again, put the plus sign on the plus sign, drag up to 115, and if it extends past, that's okay. Okay, 115 right in the center of 110 and 120. There is my purple arrow. Perfect. Okay. All right, starting to get the hang of this. Okay, so what type of angle is this? Right angle. It is 90 degrees. It's not 90. Acute angle. Less than 90 degrees. 115 is more than 90. Obtuse angle. More than 90 degrees. This is definitely more. So it's obtuse angle. We say it like a big old giant because it's bigger than 90. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so now we're going to construct an angle that is just 5 degrees. Okay, so we're going to put our arrow cross here, line up with the 0. I'm going to make it go farther than the 0. Put it right through the center of that 0. Make sure it's at least 3 points, and let's make this one green. All right, we're gonna be green. All right, so there we go. We've got a 0 degree and we're making a 5 degree. All right, so we're gonna line up, plus sign with the plus sign, and 5 is right here. So here's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a little bit longer line. We're gonna line it up, a little bit longer line. We're gonna make this green. We're gonna make this 3 points. And there's our 5 degree angle. It's a teeny tiny little angle. It is definitely not a right. That's 90. It's a cute little angle. It's so cute. It's less than 90 degrees. All right. All right, now let's try this again. Construct an angle that is 75 degrees. Okay, so we get our arrow here. We always start with lining up the 0, so put your plus sign on the plus sign. Line up with the 0. I like to make this a 3 point so that it's nice and fat. Okay, and we'll just leave this one black and white. That's okay. And then we're going to do 175. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 75. Okay, so that is almost a straight line. Okay, line the plus sign up with the plus sign. 170, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 175 goes right there. Make this a 3-point font so we can see that line. And this is a big old angle. It's almost a straight line. So acute angle? No, that's smaller than 90 degrees. Obtuse angle? That's greater than 90 degrees. Okay. All right. So here we go. Now we're getting down. Now we're not just doing 5 degrees. Now we're at 117. So these are getting down to like the 1 degree mark, okay? So let's get our angle. We're going to line up the plus sign with the plus sign, and we're dragging it over to the 0, okay? And we're going to make sure that this is a 3-point font. And for this one, let's make this one orange. All right, and this is, oh, I must have, here, let's go back. 117. I don't know what I did. I just clicked forward on the slides, I guess. Here we go. Line up with the 0. Make this a 3-point font, and this is going to be, let's do blue. Okay. So 117, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, too big. 110, 115's in the middle, 2 more little lines, 116, 117. That's the line right there I'm going for. Okay. Put the plus sign on the plus sign. All right, 115, 116, 117. And I'm going to make this go out past, because see, when I go out past, I can see those little lines a whole lot better. So it makes it easier for me to make sure I get it right on the 117. All right, there we go, 117. All right, let's see. This is definitely not a 90. 90 is a right angle. This is definitely not smaller than 90. That would be acute. This is definitely obtuse because it is greater than 90 degrees. All right, and this one we already did in orange, but this one's going to be 48. Okay, so 10, 20, 30, 40. Ooh, 45's in the middle, 46, 47, 48. And remember, when we're going to the 1's degree, so getting it exactly accurate, it's easier to go out past. Okay, so there we're at 45. 46, 47, 48. Okay, if we go out past a little bit, it helps us make sure that that line gets right on where we want it to. So there's 48 degrees. And this is not a right angle. Right angle, that is 90 degrees. Acute angle, less than 90 degrees. That's what this is. It's acute. It's less than 90 degrees. Okay, and last one. This one again goes to the 1's degree, so 132. Okay, so we start with the plus on the plus, line up with the 0. Let's make it a 3-point font, and let's change our color. Pink. We're gonna be pink. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to go to 132. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130. Ooh, not quite 135, 131, 132. And remember, when we're going to 132, we want to make sure we go out past. There, we're lined up right with 130, 131, 132. Okay. And then that just helps me make sure I get it exactly where I want it to be. So there's a 132-degree angle. And this angle, right angle, it is 90 degrees. It's not that acute angle, less than 90 degrees. It's not that obtuse angle. That's what it is. It's more than 90 degrees. 132 is more than 90. All right, I hope that explains how to find your angles. For your exit ticket, you're going to put in these arrows and create some angles of your own. Thanks, guys.